Okay. I just finished watching this episode.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah. I checked my messages and I was like, oh, they're ready. You had said 6:30. I actually kind of went ahead and intentionally waited because I typically feel the most like talking about it right when I finish.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I like place myself up against the clock. I did want to ask real quick because we have Kristen back. Was there
Yay.
anything you wanted to say about last week?
Oh, God, my memory. I am so tired. I barely remember what happened.
Okay.
It's really hard to tell, honestly.
Do you think we did
I liked
okay?
it a lot. No, I liked it a lot. It just was, I guess it was, I really liked the fashion montage with Roller. That was
Yes,
like a lot of
that
Roller
was
and Polly.
amazing.
Yeah, and Polly and Jen are my favorites. And it was just like there was a lot of good stuff with both of them last week. So, yeah.
This was episode 4 of season 3 of Riverdale, apparently. Were you getting that vibe from this episode?
Now that you said it, yes.
Of Claus entitled Boy Bye. What are we thinking about this show? Is it trying you guys' patience at all?
Not really.
I'm going to
Sade?
say a tiny bit. I watched it with my sister, and she cannot hide what she's thinking. So, like, at one point, I was like, okay, this is a little much, but whatever. I turned to her, and her arms are crossed. She looks pissed. And I was just like, what's wrong? She's like, I don't like this episode. And I was trying to figure out why. I think similar to me, where sometimes, like, I've mentioned before, every episode, somehow they shock me, which is weird because I should know what I'm getting into by now. I think it also might have an element of like, okay, guys, what's happening? Too much might be happening. And I think maybe that's what happened with her. For me, there were moments where I was like, okay, what are we doing? Specifically with Roller.
Okay.
I was like, okay, maybe this actor doesn't want to be on the show anymore. And this might be me overanalyzing it because I was like, oh, he's going to die. Like
I was worried. I was really worried he was actually going to die.
I was really worried too. And I was like, episode 4 is not, you kill him in episode 9. You know what I mean?
You don't
Exactly.
kill Roller in episode 4.
So the resolution when it's like, oh no, he's alive, it's fine. I was just like, what was all that for? Right? Like, I don't know. It just felt a little like
It was to help Desna confront that she actually
her
cares
true
about
feelings.
him.
Yeah.
That is true.
I mean, you wanted this, Sade.
Yeah. I get it. But sometimes there are moments where I was like, what like I could see that they're trying to set something up, but maybe I get irritated. And that was like a slight moment. Same thing with Dean. This mahjong, like, or whatever, like,
Yeah.
what's going on with Dean? I was getting a little irritated with him, which I've never experienced before.
I'm irritated with Dean too, especially because he's not treating Virginia right anymore, and that's pushing her into the arms of EJ, and it's just like all very who by the way is like a weird crooner. Like, what is he doing?
What is EJ? Who is EJ? What's like? Why is he just? Because obviously,
When did he get out of prison? Like, where did these fans come from?
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also, like, are we supposed to? Are you too suspicious that his run-ins with Virginia are not just whoops, just happen to bump into you?
He has to be calculating that.
Okay, right? Yeah, that's what I'm assuming as well. And I thought with her Reiki eye, she would be able to sense that. But
We might just be full done with that at this point. I have no
Which would be a bummer because seemed like it was going to be such a cool ongoing thing.
Exactly. That's why I was like, what's going on with this Reiki eye sense? Like, why can't you tell that he's a bad guy, or at least something is suspicious about him?
Okay, here's what I wanted to say. I am still enjoying the show. Like, I still am having fun with it.
Me too.
I want to see where we're going, and for my enjoyment, these next 2 to 3 episodes are going to be paramount. What they do, because we're at a place where I don't actually understand what this season is about. I don't understand what we're working towards or what we're building towards. And I'm trying to think if I did in the first 2 seasons. I mean, weren't they kind of fly by the seat of your pants, or did they have a solid arc that we understood what we were accomplishing?
No, they were kind of fly by the seat of your pants, but I feel like there's as much fun as Melba is, she's not like a compelling villain. Like, she's fun to watch, but there's nothing seems calculated about her. She just seems like a loon.
Yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying it. Are you guys also trying to make it Christina Hendricks in your head?
I'm actually
don't even say that because that now I can't not think of it, and that would have been amazing.
I'm trying to make her a third woman, actually, who's on that show, Single Parents. She reminds me of Big Red from Single Parents. I think Sade watched that show.
Yeah,
but she's not that woman, and she's not Christina Hendricks.
She's a lot of fun, but again, I don't get Mac either, and I don't know what we're working towards, and so
with this mahjong thing with Dean and Mac, and like there's a lot going on that I'm just like I don't really get it, and like Uncle Daddy and Bryce trying to run this legitimate rehab is so fucking weird. The only thing I'll say is this was only episode 4, and it could just easily be a filler episode to like get us to a place where like now Desna and Roller are on kind of stable ground while the rest of Desna's life explodes behind her. But even that is like, haven't we already seen this? I would love to be doing something new.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. It kind of felt like a setup episode because I feel like obviously something's being set up with Virginia and EJ, right?
Yeah.
Something's being set up with Dean and Mac and his obsession of this game or whatever. And something's being set up with Polly.
Yeah.
And her being able to be friends, or not friends, like date this guy who works with Mac and Melba.
I'm still baffled as to what's happening with them. Are they actually, who is playing who? Or is everybody playing everybody? Like,
I don't know. I get a weird sense, and I am more than willing to be proven wrong, but I get a weird sense that Joe and Polly are actually being relatively straight with each other.
I think so too.
I think so as well.
It's hilarious coming from these two people, and especially these two people in the situations that they're in.
Right.
And I find Joe interesting in a way that I'm surprised by. I don't know if I just think that guy has an amazing beard. I don't know what
hot.
it is.
He's super hot.
I'm like really pulled in a way that like finding out that Mac and Melba found him. Like,
yeah,
when?
weird.
Yeah.
Like, how old were you? And I floated this theory that, and I mean, I feel like I'm like you, Sade, where I'm maybe overanalyzing things because I had a couple theories last week where I was like, maybe he has an evil twin, or maybe like,
I was right there with you. I was like, yeah, he probably does.
It's just also odd. And so that's the thing. And the most important thing for me is as long as I am entertained, I'll watch this for a while longer. But this is the closest we've come for me where I was like, I'm not going to go ahead and say jump the shark, but it was like, I have a feeling that in 3 or 4 episodes from now, I'm going to come back to this snake story and be like, that's not how snakes work. That's not how, like...
Yeah, because the snake was just gone after it bit him.
Well, it sought him out. It, like, climbed up onto the bed. Like, they don't do that. And also, it bit his right leg, and then at the end of the episode, his left leg was bandaged. Like,
oh, wow. I did not pick up on that at all. Like, for me, I think I suffer from this with some shows. The show that I think I can really pick up on, I don't know if you two ever watched Ugly Betty.
Yeah.
But I think I watched it right up until it ended. Like, maybe I, like, didn't even watch the last, like, 2 episodes or something because I was like, I'm done. But basically I was like, Betty, why do you keep getting in these situations? And obviously the point of the, like, that was like my feeling. I was like, no more. Obviously the point of the show is to show her get into situations, right?
Yeah.
But in this episode, I do agree with you, Will, that I kind of felt a little like, okay, I love this show. Did I love Desna driving in the car and 2 other Desnas in the back telling her opposite things?
But that's absolutely that was hilarious. But also, like, did they drop all of their budget? That was the shittiest green screen that we have never seen.
There was a moment where I think Desna, maybe Melba, punches Desna, and you could see that the person who's falling is not Niecy Nash. It's definitely a stunt double who's completely different, like looks has a different face.
It's a man.
And it's like,
you know?
yeah, basically. Like, it's like, why even shoot it at this angle where we could see that it's like, I'm not looking for that. I just saw it, you know?
I will say that the visuals of this episode were all over the map. Whoever directed this episode was weird. Just the way
drunk
the shots,
at the wheel.
Yeah, the shots they chose. Like there was some in the yurt. There were a couple weird shots. It was very weird looking. Just looking at this episode.
Yeah, I will say overall, like another thing that I think they're trying to set up, I think something's going to happen to Jen's mom, like she's going to die or something. Because
I was literally about to say we completely forgot to mention Brenda last week.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know, because it's so minor thing. Like, here I am. Okay, maybe I'm not here anymore. It was so like random. But in this episode, she continues to come to the rehab center. And then Bryce is obviously like, yeah, this isn't a good idea. I'm so happy Jen didn't get mad. Because I was like, I can't handle you two in a fight again. Okay?
No, same.
Right. So they resolved that pretty quickly. But it seems like they're setting up maybe something bad is going to happen to her. Which, I mean, she was introduced last season, but I don't know if there's much of a connection for me to care. If that sounds bad.
I agree with you. I don't super care about her beyond what drama she'll introduce to Jen's life.
Exactly.
I'm definitely not, and I honestly don't have that much more to say. This might be a little bit of a shorter episode for us, but I was just going to say that it's like, I'm far from done with the show, but this is the first time that I've actually been sort of like, what are we doing? Like, what are we actually doing here? And we'll have to see if that continues, because if this was just an off episode, then that's fine, but the trajectory feels...
Yeah, the visuals of this episode lead me, strictly the visuals lead me to believe that this was an off episode, because it's definitely the episode that I've most been like, what am I watching? And also, what am I looking at? Like, it was like, this episode was the B team.
Like that, the shot of the security camera in the badger's mouth. I was like, it was like, weird. That was some 90s Nickelodeon sitcom.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if that was supposed to be funny, because I was cracking up, because I was like, that is the most obvious secret camera
I'm surprised it wasn't beeping. Like,
basically.
And like zooming in. Like,
well, and to get back to the, like, you said it was like too much. And I agree, specifically with Roller's situation, because it was like, so he got chloroformed and kidnapped, and then he got beaten up. And then there was, like, a cleaver, and that Melba used that taser on him, and then they cut off his toe, and then they trapped him in a room with a snake, and it's like, talk about overkill. Like, you could have killed him. You could have killed him.
Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah, you could have killed him, like, with your hands in front of your eyes, so you knew he was dead, him and Desna, at any given point. And Melba was like, we're just gonna let the woods take them. And I'm like, are you kidding?
Oh, I mean, I'll say that felt in character for.
Well, sure, but it felt simultaneously too much and also not enough, because it's like, that's no guarantee.
Yeah, it felt really weird with that whole setup. I was kind of like, why wouldn't you just kill them right away? Obviously, they're not going to.
The show can't handle that, but yeah.
Yeah, but it just seems like everything you're doing, I would have rather someone like interrupted them, and that's why they had to leave, versus like, no, this is our plan. This is gonna work. And it's like, no, like, whatever.
There was still a couple, it still had that funny out of left field, because this isn't the most risque show that I watch on TV or have ever watched on TV, but it does sort of surprise me, kind of not unlike the first couple seasons of Glee, where I was like, can they say that?
Yeah.
And there's just a handful of things that they've done on this show that, like, because I think Jen, and this isn't so much risque, but I think Jen had some good material this episode, or like funny, like she worked with the material she was given, let me say that.
Yeah.
Polly worked with the material she was given, and then the guy in the salon early on, where he was like, and then when I woke up at the dentist, my booty hole felt looser. And I was just like, what?
Yeah.
Are you okay with that? Are we gonna come back to this? Like, it just kind of, I don't know, stuff like that is so funny. But and Kristen and I especially are frequently saying that we like the crazy, lean into the crazy.
I do have a line, like.
Yeah, it's dangerous territory, because as much as you may enjoy it, there's always a tipping point where it's like, uh-oh, we've gone too far.
Well, and it has to be clever. It can't be crazy for crazy's sake. And so it's like that debate they did in last season with Bryce and Jen was hilarious, where it's like, we're not quite getting, or even like the water ballet number with Toby. It's like, we're not quite getting that stuff now. And so, like, I feel like we have a new showrunner. That's what I'm kind of feeling.
Oh, yeah, I haven't looked into that, but possibly.
So... I think I'm good. I don't know about you guys. I mean, was there anything else you wanted to say, or?
Not specifically.
No, I don't have anything else to say. I guess the thing I'm the most interested by at this point is what EJ is doing with Virginia.
Yeah.
Like, I'm very curious what's going to happen, especially because how is that going to impact Dean? And also, I want Dean to stop being annoying. I've never thought I was going to be annoyed by him, but I'm super annoyed by him in this episode.
And I guess I just feel like I have to acknowledge Virginia and her Heelys.
Yeah, hilarious.
And how I don't know if she could do it. Well, I know I can't, but I've seen people do it like way longer, and she kind of seemed like she was like maybe going 2 steps forward with that and had to redo it. I don't know.
Yeah, so, okay, well, I guess we will check back in next week, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Okie doke.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.